Okay. And I am live. So thank you for joining me today, us eventually. My name is Sandy. I'm sure that if you're here, you probably know who I am already. And you're probably wondering where Chloe is. She is driving home from work, I think. So she should be here shortly. She said she was going to join at 3:30, but I didn't want to hold us up because I don't know about you guys, but like I could use some serious words. And even as somebody who works from home all the time, the coronavirus stuff is kind of getting to me. So uh, thanks for being part of this today. Let me see if I can't put up a banner so people know what this is. Let's see here. It is March 19th. We're going to stick to our same schedule, even though Chloe's not here. So I'll run the timer and oh, she is here. She's going to be here shortly. So I'll run the timer for whatever reason she doesn't manage to show up on time, but I think she's home. I think she's home and that she will be here and that she is signing in. So I am working on a novella today. It's my villain novella, and it's going really well. I'm at 17,000 words. I need something like 2,000 or 3,000 today. Oh, this is my fault. I didn't give her the link. Hang on. I'm going to make this happen. Technical glitches. That's my part. Okay, Chloe has the link. She should be here shortly. So I'm working on that villain novel. I'm looking to get like a couple thousand words in today. So during this session, 1,500 would be a great goal. Oh, and you're right. It's not 4:05. 3:35 is when we're going to be starting. Damn, impromptu sprinting is so hard. Hide that. Here. 3:35. Hi, Chloe. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm muddling along a little bit. Yeah. So but I'm glad that you joined us because otherwise I was going to be screwed. I'm good. I'm muddling. Whoa. What was that? What was that? Something bad just happened. Yeah. What is that? But I'm glad that you joined us because otherwise I was going to be screwed. I'm good. I'm muddling. Whoa. What was that? What was that? Something bad just happened. Fixed. That was not Chloe. Whoa. Okay.
Hello.
Cussing on my end. That was my fault, not yours.
Okay. Yeah. I'm so scared now.
No, that was me because I have this Bluetooth speaker that I don't know how to use yet, and everything is all farkled on my end.
Gotcha. Hold on. I am actually ready to get our first sprint going. If you just give me a second to pull up the app. There we go. Let's do our first sprint and then we'll figure out what we're doing.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, go ahead and start now.
Okay.
We're back.
We're back. We're back. Also, I don't think I have as many problems right now as I did before.
Good. I have many more problems because I have started this conversion and it is not working well.
Oh, that sucks. So you are working on ebook conversion right now?
Yeah, so I am getting a novel that is set to be released next Thursday. Set up to be put into ebook format, but something, and now like I tried to do it before, like just to make it easier for me to read when I edited it. Something was like really whacked out with the formatting on it when I converted it. And now that I'm going through the file on Word, it looks like it originated with Word and not Caliber, which is a good thing because I don't know enough about Caliber to really fix massive problems there.
Oh, so you need to make sure you can fix it in Word and like re-upload it or something.
Right. But it turns out, so for those of you who are watching, what happened was the pages were like, instead of being centered, they were shifted slightly, and like the page next to it was actually bleeding over into that one. And the margins were really wide, and this would have been reading it on my phone in a EPUB format. So everything was shifted slightly, and then because it was shifted slightly, like the next page was actually bleeding into the previous page. Which, I mean, something like that, if you've ever done, so if you guys haven't ever formatted a book for an ebook yet, ebooks basically use HTML to work. And if you guys have never dealt with HTML, especially now in the days of like cascading style sheets and all of that, this can happen for like any dumb reason. That if you don't know how to read this sort of thing, if you don't know how to read code, it really, like, it can be almost impossible to fix. I had one the other day that literally just for some reason, some of the lines were the wrong size. They should have been 11, or they should have been 12 point, and they were 11 point. And it took me like a half hour just to figure out the right code because everything's CSS now. But the good news is that when I open up the Microsoft Word document and fiddled with the formatting and everything on Microsoft Word, everything was shifted slightly and way too wide on the screen. So hopefully that was it. And when I actually go to convert this time, it'll be good.
Yeah, I don't. You should consider doing it from Scrivener once. So like the interesting thing about a Scrivener conversion is that like hardly anything is formatted in Scrivener, right? Like when you're writing in Scrivener, like you can theoretically have margins, but like that stuff doesn't I don't know it doesn't go through to like the compiled version unless you tell Scrivener to compile it that way. And when it does EPUBs, like Scrivener's really clean about the way that it does stuff. So like all this formatting stuff that you're talking about, what I'm thinking as you say it is like, I've never had trouble with the style sheet in Caliber like that because the Scrivener style sheet is so simple to read.
Now, I will also say, though, that this is the first time I've ever had this problem, and you can only say that you've never had a problem until you've had that problem. So this could be some fluke that has never happened. And it was a real easy fix. I just had to go in and make sure that everything that was the normal style was actually the normal style. The problem then with that was that it has that like trickle down effect where also things that like you stylized differently after they are already set to normal, like I have to go and redo it. So, and by that, like the exact thing is that like all of my glyphs, I always center them, of course, because glyphs are supposed to be centered. And of course, when I reapplied the normal format, they're all left aligned now. So I have to just go through and find all of my glyphs.
Yeah, and I will tell you most of the time for like glyphs and such, like this scene dividers is what we're talking about right now. Like those pretty little things that you put between you. So you have to actually like put that in. And typically, like I think for almost all my romances, I just don't bother because it's such a pain in the ass to like deal with that. And if I did it through Scrivener, then I usually have to go through myself and like make sure that they all look good.
Yeah.
That's
the other side for me with Scrivener is that I can't even get it to compile to a Word document properly. So I've never been able to figure out how to compile. And I mean, I do compile, but they always look ridiculous. And I have to do a whole bunch of formatting just to make them readable in Word. So there's this something, Scrivener and I don't get along. We never have.
I keep thinking I should do like a Scrivener compile tutorial. And then I keep thinking like, yeah, but Scrivener 3 is supposed to come out. Like almost for sure I'll do that video and then like Scrivener 3 will appear and it'll be so much more user friendly and like nobody will need that like crazy, ridiculous tutorial.
Also, really quick, just to Darren, Vellum is for Apple products, and we are both, why am I blanking on the right term?
PC?
Yes, we're both PC. So we don't get the glory that is Vellum. But that's okay. I really, like I mentioned before, this is the first time I've ever had this problem. This could be the last time I ever have this problem for all I know. So I'm not sweating it too much. It's just like this exact moment, it's what's irritating me. And again, it is literally like the waste of time of me having to scroll through this whole damn document, every flipping glyph, because you can't do a search on glyphs because it's an image. You can't, I don't need to explain that. But
yeah, no, I mean that stuff is insane.
But honestly, I do enjoy doing this work usually.
Me too.
Yeah. I have absolutely no issues doing these compiles. I just had this weird fluke happen this time, but also because I've been dealing with I'm on Smashwords now. 2 of my books are on Smashwords. I've always been Amazon, and now I've done Smashwords. A lot of people, Sandy uses D2D. I use Smashwords because I write erotica, and D2D does not support erotica. Smashwords is extremely picky about formatting. So now that I am getting more used to doing the Smashwords formatting, I feel like it's actually going to simplify things in the end because I'm a cleaner formatter for it. And I don't mind doing all of this. I will not be making tables of contents unless I am forced to from Smashwords, though. That is not something I will ever make for myself.
So I don't know how D2D compares to Smashwords in terms of like formatting pickiness, but it is definitely pickier than Amazon. And absolutely, when I had to start uploading the draft to digital, like it totally forces you to be cleaner, right? It forces you to go through your files and be like, what have I done?
Yeah.
To cause these things. But there's something really geeky, satisfying about being able to do your own stuff. And I mean, if you do have that like HTML background at all, I don't know, like I'm always thinking my like high school computer science teacher would be so proud of me right now for being capable of doing my own ebooks and like understanding what's happening. You know what I'm saying? We should.
Yeah, I'm jealous that you had high school computer science. We were not that fancy where I went.
I think that was not normal, but yeah, I did. I had 2.
We had typing. We could have a typing class, but even better than a typing class is a 25-minute word sprint. So we will see you guys. Oh gosh, the math. We'll see you guys at 20 after. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Let me count
kerfluffle in the middle of that.
I've had like a kerfluffle this entire time. It's like I want to do the work, right? I want to be writing. The universe wants my computer to crash. I actually got a blue screen of death like halfway through that.
Wow. It's been a while since I've seen one of those.
Seriously, right? Wait, what's that noise? Is that what is that?
Oh,
what is that?
are you?
Oh, it's my other computer.
You.
Okay. Okay. All right. So all the things can go wrong. I still got 686 words written that time.
So I have a question for you and the viewers. I have a little writing thing happening.
Okay.
Right where I am in this story. So again, I am obviously at the very, very end game edits here where I'm just fixing like weird little typos that I've seen. But in the middle of that, I actually noticed a continuity error. There's a reference to birds, and then later on, there is a reference to the fact that there are no birds where they are. So at the moment, this paragraph, it is a 2-sentence paragraph, don't worry, is a rabbit hopped down the street toward him, a sure indication that the town was deserted, left to be taken over by nature, except it hadn't. No grass sprouted from cracks in the paved road. No birds nested in the gutters of the buildings. All the siding was immaculate. There cannot be birds here. They're in hell. There are no birds in hell. That is my hell. Actually, my hell would probably have a lot of birds in it because I don't like hell. But this hell has no birds. So I need something else there, preferably not weird and hell-like, but like something that you would expect from a deserted place anywhere.
So not birds nesting.
Right. I just can't have birds nesting because later on they get attacked by birds and they're like, what the hell is going on? There are no birds in hell.
Okay.
So it's kind of a big deal that, yeah, I don't know. It took me like 4 passes to catch that I had done this. I don't know if anybody else. Yeah, the birds, don't worry. The like magic birds do also die.
Okay, but wait a second. So clarification. So you are looking for a way to say, gosh, like there is no life here at all. I don't even see birds nesting, except not birds nesting.
Right. And in a way that's not like, oh, everybody must have just gone to the next town over to go to something, but that this town has just been deserted and left to be taken over by nature.
Okay, so things that could happen if a town was taken over by nature.
And again, the other 2 examples are grass sprouting in cracks in the concrete or in the paved roads, and then is fine where they are. No siding is falling off of buildings.
And there's no like vines growing up.
This is being like a 50s town square kind of deal. It's all like super magic out the wazoo is what's going on, but
this is funny. There were no lawyers, like there were no dentists.
I love that, but no, I'm looking for things that are not hell-like because this is also really weird that they are in hell and they are stumbling upon, you know, like basically Pleasantville. They have stumbled upon, except that it is abandoned, but it looks perfect.
Okay. This is very confusing. So it's an abandoned town. It doesn't look abandoned, and you want to say these are the indications that it is abandoned or not.
No, that it's not. That it's weird because like clearly it is abandoned, but also it looks maintained.
Could you read the sentence again?
Yes. Okay. A rabbit hopped down the street toward him, a sure indication that the town was deserted, left to be taken over by nature, except it hadn't. No grass sprouted from cracks in the paved road. No birds nested in the gutters of the buildings. All the siding was immaculate.
Okay. So, like, no dust accumulating on windows, no rust anywhere, no ivy growing up the sides of buildings. You've already got grass.
Yeah,
no.
The rest is good.
It's a little weird. It's a little. I mean, it's hell, right? Like, what's supposed to rust in hell?
Oh, right. But that's it. Like, everything about it, like, you can kind of ignore the fact that it's hell. Because again, all of this is so wacky. Like, there shouldn't be rabbits. There are no rabbits in hell. Everything, they're like, what the hell is going on?
I mean, in an abandoned town, I would expect things like broken windows and bars over doors and
you know what? Broken windows is a good one. Maybe I'm gonna go with broken windows.
Like broken windows.
Yeah.
Like storefronts, empty stuff, like.
So there are
closed
signs. Well, yeah. The storefronts are absolutely still there. It's one day you'll understand.
Yeah, as soon as I get to actually reading this. So I'm so sorry.
No, it's totally fine. It just happened to be, and of course, like, this shouldn't be a difficult thing. The whole point of this is that it's a really weird that this rabbit would just be like going down the middle of the street when everything looks like it is inhabited, but also clearly nothing is inhabited because they're not seeing anybody, and this rabbit is hopping down the middle of the street.
Hey, can we clarify that this is an Easter story? Because I just feel like people need to know that right now.
That is, the funny thing is that that's not even why I chose a rabbit there.
It isn't. It's perfect, though.
I chose a rabbit because it had to be something that he was willing to just absently reach down and pet, not thinking that it might actually be a monster.
These are demons we're talking about, right? And they think it's okay to pet random stuff. I don't know. That doesn't seem like smart demon protocol.
And he has a death wish. He doesn't really care.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a demon rabbit. So a little backstory on this is that it's a town that has basically been abandoned for like about 100 years, a little less than 100 years. But the demon who is the lord of this area has basically cursed everything to look like this, Easter paradise. But actually everything is still terrible, hell awful stuff.
I love your imagination.
I'm glad you do.
I do. I think it's a you've got a very vivid imagination with this. I think busted windows is probably
I think that is exactly what I needed, that it wasn't too close, because like you had mentioned ivy, but also the previous thing was grass, and I was like, I don't want to do too much. Well, yes. So what Darren just said is that's exactly what's going on in this town, is that it's cursed to be perfect forever because he is a vanity demon. I use the 7 deadly sins in this series, where every demon has a sin that he is controlled by, and this one is controlled by vanity. So he wants his world to be perfect, and he can't leave hell for other reasons. So he has created this world around him, and also like he has a curse on him, so that like the things he technically creates are beautiful things. Like he creates flowers and stuff, but also he's got this curse on him where a lot of this stuff is not actually as it seems. So it's the curse on him that's causing his beautiful things to actually be devil bunnies. On devil bunnies, though, we should go ahead and do our 30 minutes.
Yeah, that totally deserves like a
yeah.
banner,
Time to think about a world inhabited by devil bunnies. Okay, we're gonna write for 30, and we will see you guys at right about the hour. Perfect word prompt, devil bunnies. Okay, good luck, everybody.
Okay. Oh, I missed a 30-minute 1K by 58 words.
Damn it. Oh, no. I missed a 30-minute 1K by 1K. But I did get the book converted. Sorry. Oh, she is running off. How did you guys do at home? But we haven't really been checking in with you guys.
Yeah, she's here.
I didn't get the book. I got the book converted. I also threw it in our shared folder. If you can take a quick look and make sure that there's no format issues. It looks fine on my end, but I'm paranoid.
I will do this. It'll be interesting to me to see if there's like massive differences between what your stuff ends up looking like anyway in terms of the coding.
Oh, you didn't need to go that fancy. Oh, 623 is really good.
623 is really good. No, yeah. That's not fancy. I'm just curious. Okay, it's in the shared drive. Why don't I see it? Is it in Candy for
Candy for Demons?
Got it.
Also, in case anybody's curious, this series is called Candy for Demons.
I love that.
This book is an Easter demon for Eloise.
Fun. Okay. All right. Let's view this. I could share my screen on this. You probably don't want that.
You can. I don't care.
Let's do this so that people can
you
actually
guys can all see what my formatting is like.
Doing. Yeah. We'll do this one and this. All right. So there is Chloe's demonic peep.
My demonic peep, yes.
So and you can see how it shows up, right, on my screen
here?
Yeah. Okay. Cute title.
All right, so that looks right.
It looks totally fine. Let's see if like the chapters and everything work. I just totally clicked on a like they were saved by a bolt of lightning. By the way, I don't know what that is.
They really were, yeah. That was Killever's bravado warning them that they were about to die.
Here, let's look at like this. So Caliber is really useful because you can like change the size of your window, which is helpful, right? Because you don't really know what your ebook is going to look like in different formats. And I think it's, I don't know, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't have your cover in your table of contents. Do you always do that?
I don't care.
Its size is nice.
Like I have to actually go into Caliber to do that, and I can. I just choose not to.
Yeah, I'm totally freaking neurotic about these things. It's I don't know. Like I probably make my files larger than necessary by doing all kinds of stupid stuff.
Just putting it out there for Smashwords, you actually cannot do that.
You can't have your title in your table of contents?
No, Smashwords is really weird. Huh. If you do the EPUB yourself, you can do, and it clears, then it clears, that's fine. But like you cannot put your cover inside of the document. You actually cannot have a title page either. The title page is just your copyright page. And you have to follow a specific format for it for Smashwords.
So, but you're talking about like the Word document that you give them, right? Not the EPUB?
Yes.
Okay.
So but again, like if you give them an EPUB instead of the Word document, you're not going to be eligible for as many things, most likely.
That is so very, very weird. And I feel like I should show people what I'm talking about here. Let me find one that looks decent on mine. Okay,
But again,
so
Smashwords it distributes to a bunch of really weird places. And I think with that in mind, they want to have as much control over it as possible.
I guess it seems really odd. So what we're talking about is stuff like, so like, see how I can make this a little bigger. So when we had Chloe's up here, like hers were just the chapters, where mine has like the cover and the title page and everything. And it's not that she didn't have the cover or the title page. It's just that like she didn't have it in the table of contents. So that's what I'm talking about right there. That seems very weird to me.
Like, I can't do that. I just choose not to for Amazon.
Yeah.
But for Smashwords, you cannot. Like, you cannot have an image start the file. I know this because I tried to my last time and I got flagged. And as soon as I deleted the title image, it was fine.
That is so weird. Yeah. Oh my God, my dog.
But you can have images because I've got my glyph in it and it didn't reject the glyph. Yeah.
So my husband is totally out there, like apparently ignoring the dog. I sorry. No, so that is interesting. Yeah. I don't know if I would. So recently it has occurred to me that I don't actually need D to D either. And I didn't think about this beforehand. Like I'm with my romance, I only distribute through Amazon, and I don't have the same issue that you have, right? Because I don't write erotica. So like, yeah, I have no risk of being in the dungeon or whatever. I only have a risk of being labeled chick lit, but so it's not right for Amazon. So like my two romance, so my two romance pen names, it doesn't even make sense for me to go anywhere but Amazon, right? Because like I'm most likely to get paid through KDP Select. But for that one I just showed you guys, the YA one, that one I'm going wide on. So for that, when you go wide, you have Draft to Digital as an option, you have Smashwords as an option, you have Ingram Spark as an option. And like what you do sort of all depends on like what you want and where you want the book distributed. So like for sure, you're going to put it on Amazon and you're going to have like an ebook copy and a paperback copy. But if you want a pre-order to come up on Amazon for your paperback, you have to work through Ingram Spark. Yeah. And so I have the paperback on Ingram Spark. I've got my ebook on pre-order on Kindle. And then I also have my ebooks on Draft to Digital for like all the other ebook places. So like Barnes and Noble would be finding me through Draft to Digital. But weirdly, I don't think Draft to Digital does a very good job of distributing ebooks, because when I look at like the Barnes and Noble sites, my paperback will show up, but like not my ebook necessarily. And or if I might be reversing this. And I think I can distribute ebooks through Ingram. So I'm not sure. I'm redundant.
So they don't have any links telling you where your books are going.
Well, okay, so this is another odd thing. Draft to Digital does a great job with that. Like they set you up automatically with a books to book universal link. And that like populates with all of the links to where all of your, like where Draft to Digital has distributed the book. Where Ingram actually does a terrible job with that. Like, I mean, Ingram's like a catalog. So they don't necessarily have links for you. Just anybody who comes to Ingram can find your book there. So it's a kind of an odd, I don't know. Like I'm not 100% sure what's better yet, but it dawned on me recently that maybe I overdid it. Like maybe I could have just done with either Draft to Digital or Ingram, and I'm really not 100% sure. Like, because to make this more complicated, Draft to Digital is constantly changing. Like they evolve. So they're like adding services, and like a year ago, they didn't do paperbacks. I think now they might. So there's lots of confusion there, and Smashwords is a whole different world for me, which only you can play.
Smashwords is a crazy, very confusing world. You know who else is a confusing world? is Google Play.
Oh, yes. They're so weird, right?
Yeah, like I can't figure out pretty much for both Smashwords and so for Play, I can't figure out what the links are to my books. Like I've actually been able to go into my Play books and find it that way, but through like the Play dashboard, there's no way to access your books that way.
So weird.
You know, the other weird thing, so like that like really, really bothers me with Play. With Smashwords, it's really hard to figure out how many books you have sold, like where you're selling them outside of Smashwords, and how many you've sold. But the flip side of that is that if you never figure it out and you're not somebody who's selling a whole lot of books anyways, then you just get like surprise royalty checks from them because you had no idea that you sold anything. Which was like the first book that I put on Smashwords. Like 3 months later, I suddenly get this $10 deposit from Smashwords in my bank account. And I'm like, what's going on? It says that I haven't sold any. And then like once I dug around long enough, I discovered that I had actually sold, I think I'm now at 8 copies on that, whatever the Apple store is.
Wow.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And again, like this is where I'm putting these books that are erotic romance. Yeah. So I can't advertise them on Amazon, and Amazon pretty well goes out of its way to make sure that like they don't accidentally advertise. Like it's really hard to find erotic romance on Amazon, even if it's not in the dungeon. So I put it wide because they're so hard to find and I'm not good at marketing myself. So I didn't expect to get anything from it. But I've sold 8 copies of that book, which, you know, was not, I wasn't expecting anything to come in at all. So yeah, it was just a nice little bonus.
The 8 copies is really good. Like I think I've sold 8 copies of anything on Draft to Digital total. So maybe Smashwords is way the better one of those. But
I don't know.
Here's an interesting so from Darren, for reader magnets, because we both did this also. In fact, I think we've both done this a couple of times. I think BookFunnel is fantastic for a reader magnet. What you should know is that you can also put your book on Smashwords or Draft to Digital or Amazon, as long as you're not in KDP Select when you're on BookFunnel. So like, you know, as you're distributing that book on BookFunnel to like your freebie readers and just hoping that you get, you know, any notice whatsoever, you could upload it to Kindle and upload it to Smashwords or whatever, and you might actually make money then while you're distributing freebies. Like they're not, what's the word for it? Exclusive, you know, like yeah. And I think I would recommend that. Actually, no, I don't think. Definitely, you should do that, because one of the things you don't realize when you first start doing this is you need freaking reviews. And like, I mean, you know, not everybody likes to talk about reviews, but you need some social proof. And those people on BookFunnel who pick up your book, just because they get it on BookFunnel, I mean, sometimes they'll review, sometimes they won't. But if they're gonna review, like you need a place for them to review. So you got to make sure that when you put your book up on BookFunnel, your reader magnet, like stick it on Goodreads, put it on Amazon, and then ask people to actually like review on Amazon.
We're on BookBub. We didn't know that we were supposed to be doing stuff with BookBub.
BookBub, you have not. You've been ignoring it. But
I now have a BookBub.
You have a BookBub. I have a BookBub. But BookBub it's small compared to like Goodreads or Kindle.
It is, but it's a place where you can just put your book to, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So question, is BookFunnel a good way to build up my list for a newsletter? Okay. So here's a question for you in return first. What genre are you writing? Because I think what we have both found is that BookFunnel is great for building up a newsletter, but there are places where that counts and places where it doesn't. Like for paranormal steamy romance, yeah, you'll get like 1 million people who will like sign up for your list in 6 weeks, but none of those people will bother reviewing your damn book. Whereas if you write sweet romance, those people apparently feel guilty when they get books. And so they legit review sometimes. And YA, like, good luck. YA needs to be freaking organic. So I think that's my opinion on that. What about you, Chloe? What's your thought before we do our last sprint?
So my thought is going a slightly different way. Oh yeah, that's right. No, I'm sorry. I've got a cat that like wants out right now, and I thought it was food time, but it's not. She's just a bitch. So as Sandy said, genre is super important on it. And unfortunately, there is that point where, because I write romance and Sandy writes romance and YA, that is as far as we can tell you with it. But regardless, what you're going to get with BookFunnel is a whole bunch of people who just want a free book. I have 1,500 people on my newsletter. Most of that newsletter was built through BookFunnel. Of them, I've got 25 ARC readers from it. And of those 25 ARC readers, probably about 4 of them actually leave reviews. Of that 1,500 people, probably 10 of them actually buy my books. Now, the flip side of it is it's nice to write a newsletter that's not going to an empty room. So cozy mystery is probably a good genre for that.
Maybe.
I feel like that's kind of yeah, I feel like it's probably okay, but you'll have to poke around and see like what's,
well,
romance definitely has the lion's share there.
And we should add a disclaimer. Like, I would still have done this with romance, like even knowing that I might end up with 30 people. Yeah, sorry. Then go ahead, Chloe. Keep at that.
No, it's fine. I cut myself off because I saw what was posted there. But no, so I don't regret my time on BookFunnel. I no longer have a BookFunnel because it is not a worthwhile investment for me this year, because this year I need to get those damn reviews. So I got like an audience last year, whether they give me money or not. I'm okay with that. But this year I need to actually do stuff that will get real money to me. And that is getting reviews, because a book that has reviews on it is a book that looks like is an actual book and not just another random pile that somebody has posted on Amazon.
Yeah. Amen to like all of that. And I'm in the same boat. I think but I mean, that being said, like BookFunnel was an excellent experience, I think probably for both of us last year. And one of the things that is so good about it is that you get a sense of whether or not your covers and your blurbs are working. I mean, like, you put your book on BookFunnel and like no one picks it up, then maybe your covers suck.
The other thing is, it's good for, I guess it's kind of on the same lines, to do polls before. And I've gotten a reasonable amount of feedback doing polls and surveys. So it is also people who will respond to you usually, as long as it's fairly simple what you're sending to them. So that is a good thing. But what Sandy is popping up right here about Facebook marketing, if you are talking about having a Facebook page, you should have a Facebook page. Whether it's super useful or not, I can't attest to, but you should absolutely have a Facebook page. If you're talking about Facebook ads, neither of us have delved into Facebook ads yet. So
I've tried it. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, like once. But okay, so here's the thing about ads, because I think Chloe and I both have very limited experience in both Facebook and Amazon ads. And the reason that we have limited experience is we don't have enough books out yet to justify the cost. So like, it's not that they aren't necessarily things that will make you successful, but like, I mean, the whole point of advertising, like what we've learned is you put your advertisement out there. It's going to cost you a lot. Like you could be spending $100 on Amazon in a month to get like 30 readers or something like that. And like, yeah, you might get readers, but if you only have a reader magnet for them to read, then it doesn't give you a good return on investment. So like basically the reason that you want to wait until you have, the reason it wouldn't be super profitable right this second to market for either of us is we just don't have enough books to like make it worthwhile. So I don't think, Chloe, are you doing any ads right now? I'm not doing any ads.
No.
I am doing
something else in this that I guess we should push is that we're both using the same marketing strategy right now. And it's basically following the 20 books to 50K strategy, which 20 books to 50K is primarily a Facebook group. And then they've got a whole bunch of offshoots and there are books and stuff. But 20 books to 50K is what we've been like following what their recommendations and what their guidelines are. And so we're both at a place where we just don't have enough out to like, based on what they're saying, we don't have enough out to make it worthwhile to do this. Yeah. So there are tons of different marketing strategies out there. We just happen to both be following the same marketing strategy. So just because we're in agreement on something doesn't mean it's necessarily universally true. It's just that we're doing the same thing.
So for this comment too, before we do that last sprint, so I actually kind of am doing something sort of similar. Like I had a freebie for my angel romance, and then I wrote like the next book. So I had a book 2 that was much longer. I promoted that with like a couple of paid newsletter promotions. And I tried the ads for that also. And that was exactly when I decided that like I was spending way too much money. Like literally Amazon was billing me like $50 to $100 a month in like that amount of time because I was finding keywords that people would click, but they were expensive. So I think like for me, it might have cost $1 to find a reader. But like when the reader then found my book 1 and book 2, I would only get a royalty of maybe like $1 or 80 cents. So not worth it until I have more books or more pages. But yeah, what Chloe said is totally true. Like we are not gospel on this. This is just what's been working for us and hasn't been working for us. And God, like we hope you have great luck with Facebook ads. And if so, tell us how you did it. Because
Facebook ads is a funny thing because Sandy and I, it wasn't that long ago that we discussed, I don't think it was on air, but we were talking about how neither of us had ever seen book ads on Facebook before. Like we heard everybody talking about it, but like I didn't even have a reference for what they were. And then about a week ago, all of a sudden all of my ads are books now. So now I know exactly what they look like, and I know why there's so much out there about don't screw it up, because the ads that I see are terrible. So that's something else. If you are looking to get into Facebook ads, make sure you like get a good idea of what other people are putting out there and figure out what looks good and what looks bad, because I've seen a lot of real bad out there. Let's do this last sprint though, because we ran way over on this.
We should. So, okay, I think this is probably worth it too. I'm sorry, but I think this probably matters, right? Like Dawson's, I mean, he's a 20 books to 50K person, right? So we can talk about this in a second, but I want to just flag that we saw it before we do our next sprint. All right, so let's do 10 minutes and then talk a little more before we go.
All right, we'll see you guys at 5 after the hour.
Okay, we are back. So I don't know exactly how many words that was, like another couple hundred, but I feel pretty good. I think I wanted 3,000 at the beginning. I'm up to 2,936 for the session. I was productive today. Mark Dawson's course. So if I had unlimited funds, I would probably pay to take that course. I don't know if it's free. My impression is that it's not. I suppose if I had unlimited time and money, then I would take that course. I think one thing to keep in mind about the 20 books and about the Craig Martells and about the Mark Dawsons that I think they would probably agree with is that, like, what worked for them 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 3 years ago doesn't necessarily work for us today, because the industry changes so fast. So even though the information that you get might be amazing, you also have to, like, consider, like, are they trying something from the same position that you are in? So, like, if Facebook ads work for Mark Dawson, would they also work for a Sandy Vasher? Because I have a significantly different audience than he has, by which I mean I have like 20 people watching me, and he has however many thousands. So I think that you have to, like, keep that in mind, you know, and not, like, take anything as gospel. Like, take it all as a potential to experiment with. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And also, this is, like, we've talked about this a lot. It's a bit of my pet peeve, and I think because I won't stop talking about it, it's also becoming a pet peeve of Sandy's. Even now, what works for one person is probably not going to work for you in the same way. And you have to be wary with that group in particular. A lot of these people post success stories without actually explaining where they get their success. And there are so many different factors that can come into play with it. There was one that we were just talking about the other day that they just mentioned in passing, and they kind of, like, brushed it off, and they were just doing a comparison between one social media and another. But they said that they had, I think it was 20 or 30,000 followers on Twitter or Facebook or whichever one it was. And they only said it to say that, you know, the other ones, they don't have nearly as many. But, like, that's the sort of thing that people don't mention. It's very rare that they mention how much money they spent to make that money. You know, when people post their book report, book report literally only says sales. It doesn't in any way say how much money you spent to get those sales. Which, if you're somebody like me who has to cut your budget real close, like, book report is completely meaningless to me, because I need to see the bottom line. I don't need to crow about my sales. I need to know that I am making money, which I am not right now. But crossing my fingers. Yeah. So you just gotta do, you know, you gotta kind of figure out the method that works for you, and you gotta accept that you're gonna have a lot of fails. Yeah.
I think we probably agree with this for sure, that, like, absolutely the best thing that you can do is keep writing. I mean, I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
Yeah, especially right now. A lot of people are talking about their sales going down. People will never stop talking about this. Now there's a little bit more of a foothold, but, like, I'm not exaggerating when I say people will say, oh, it's raining outside and my sales are going down. Do you think it's because of that? So ignore your daily sales, ignore your, like, monthly trends, and just keep writing. I mean, like, the trends for a single month. Ignore how that line is bumping up and down throughout the month, and just focus on getting more content out there. Or, like, better content, like, whatever, however you want to translate that. I'm not saying, like, make it crappy and cheap because you're trying to get more out, but, like, that's number one.
And I mean, I think you just take everything with like a really big grain of salt, right? Like
Yeah.
it's wonderful when people share their success stories, and some of the things that they do might work, but they may not be telling you absolutely everything, because those posts would be a book, and you would, I mean, there's only so many books we can read, right?
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, there have definitely been things that I think both Chloe and I have done based on things like the 20 books to 50K that have worked, like where we have seen legit progress, like using reader magnets or making our covers better, or various promotion services. So it's not like the stuff isn't valid. It's that you got to figure out what's valid for you. And I think, yeah, everybody agrees. You got to write more books. Right now, I got to cook more dinner. So, so thanks for joining us, guys. It was good to have some company today. Hopefully, we didn't ramble too much about publishing that we don't know enough about.
I don't think you got some writing done.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So I am Chloe Alice Balkin, and I have a couple things that are either on or about to go on Booksprout. So if you're interested in ARC reading for me, I do have some ARCs out. How about you?
I actually do as well right now, and I even put a link to my thing in there, which I never do. So yeah, like we both have ARCs out right now if you're interested, although we totally understand that most people watching this are writers and may have their own writing to do. Yeah. So, you know.
And you might not be into really weird erotic romance on my end.
Magical YA. Anyways, so we'll be back on Monday. So hopefully we'll see y'all then. And thanks.
You guys have a good weekend.
Bye, everyone.